In today's video, I want to share with you 5 areas where retirees spend most of their money. And then I would like to offer you a few suggestions on how that we can lower those costs. We're going to start at the lowest expenditure first and then work our way up to the highest expenditure. And by the way, the information in this video today comes from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which states that 80% of our spending comes from these 5 areas. Now, as a retiree, your actual amount may be higher or it might be lower, depending on a variety of factors, including your retirement lifestyle and choices, as well as how much money you have or don't have for that matter. But nevertheless, if you're like most retirees, about 80% of your spending will go to these 5 areas. Number 1 is entertainment. That comes in number 1, and it is the lowest. Now, the Bureau of Labor Statistics states that the average retiree household will spend 6% of their income on entertainment each month. And this includes things like travel, going to sporting events, college games, pro games, and so forth and so on, going to the movies, going to concerts, or anything else. What you spend, of course, depends upon your unique situation and what it is that you prefer for entertainment and what you prefer to spend your money on. Now, for retirees specifically, we have to be very careful here because you can really blow through your money very fast if you tend to be extravagant or don't have some type of entertainment budget in mind. Now, fortunately for us retirees, there are many activities that are free or nearly free, and they're just as enjoyable as those that we pay a lot of money for. I have found that since I've retired that my entertainment expenses have actually gone down significantly, even much lower than 6%, because my wife and I, we tend to focus on things that are free or nearly free that bring us just as much enjoyment. For instance, we like to go to concerts, but we most of the time will choose free concerts. In our area here on Tuesday nights, they have an event called Bands on the Beach. You just go right down to the beach and it's a free concert right there on the beach. And in the local town where I live, there's a river that runs through it. And on Friday nights, we have what's called Bands on the Blackwater. We go down the Blackwater River. We go down there and enjoy these events, and it's just a whole lot of fun. She and I, we like to spend time in state parks, which are free, or the parking costs us $3. We like to go on day picnics, a day at the beach. We like to go to museums, do some local sightseeing, day travel, micro trips, family gatherings, playing a game of tennis or playing a game of pickleball, anything like that. So you see, you don't really have to live high or extravagant if you want to be able to enjoy yourself. And all of our forms of entertainment don't necessarily have to have a high price tag attached to them. So number 1 is entertainment. It comes in at 6%. Number 2 on the list is food. Now, food represents somewhere around 12% of your monthly expenditures. Now, to give you an idea, that may not seem like much, but to give you an idea of how much 12% is, let's say that during your working years, you were making $60,000 a year. 12% of that $60,000 would be $7,200 a year that you spend on food, or $600 per month. Now, that's no small amount. Now, obviously, retirees want to be mindful of their food expense because it can quickly get away from you. For instance, eating out on a regular basis is a budget buster, especially nowadays. Restaurants have just gotten especially expensive. And if you eat out every day, it's just going to break the bank, and that's all there is to it. Not to mention, eating out is very unhealthy compared to the food that you can cook home. Speaking of cooking at home, you can make your meals at home for pennies on the dollar compared to eating out. But even so, our home food costs can still be reduced even more. Here's another statistic that you might find interesting about home food. Statistically speaking, most Americans will throw out about 30 to 40% of the food that they buy at the grocery store. That's right. We throw away 30 to 40% of the food that we buy at the grocery store. That's more than 1/3. Think about that. Whatever you buy at the grocery store, 1/3 of it's just getting tossed out. Now, if you want to reduce your food expenses, the focus is not to buy cheaper food because cheaper food is more unhealthy, but to actually consume more of the food that you do buy. and thereby you minimize your waste. Now, we have found that our food costs have actually gone down significantly since we've retired, because first of all, we cook at home most of the time. We prefer it that way, and it's healthier for us to cook at home. Plus, it's just me and her, my wife and I now. Instead of a family of 4, it's just the 2 of us, and you can do the math. It's a lot less expensive when you're buying for 2 than it is when you're buying for 4. We minimize our nights on the town, and we save our dining out for special occasions rather than it being a regular event for convenience's sake. And when I go to the grocery store and do my grocery shopping, I always take a list with me because it helps minimize my impulse purchases. Furthermore, I seem to be the only guy in the store with a shopping list. I get up there to the checkout counter and I've got some select items, healthy food in my basket. The people in front of me will have it stacked up and flowing over. Their basket stacked up like this with a mountain of potato chips and pastries and Coca-Colas. No wonder we are sick and unhealthy nowadays. So there's a smarter way to shop, and we don't minimize on healthy food. I don't want to, when I go to the grocery store, I don't want to have to worry about the price of broccoli or something. If I want to buy broccoli, I want to be able to buy it, and I will choose more expensive, healthier foods, not only because it's less expensive, but because it's better for my body. And we also tend to meal prep for 2 or 3 days at a time, which is also very helpful. And when we go off for a day down at the beach, we'll just take our packed meals and go with us. And that helps us keep us from making poor food choices on the go. Number 3, healthcare costs come in at number 3 at more than 13%. Now, your monthly household expenditures for healthcare costs are 13%. And this is assuming that nothing catastrophic is going on. Otherwise, beyond that, this includes things like your doctor visits, medications, insurance premiums, co-pays, prescriptions, medicines, unexpected surgeries, trips to the emergency room, and things like that. So about 13% of our household income each month is spent on medical or healthcare costs. So how do we reduce our healthcare costs? Well, first of all, number 1, as soon as you're eligible, sign up for Medicare. You need to get that done. Sign up for Medicare as soon as you're eligible, and then get yourself a good supplement to go with it. And don't miss your enrollment period, because if you miss the enrollment period and you sign up outside of the enrollment period, they're going to penalize you 10%, and that 10% penalty is for life, and it will be deducted from your Social Security benefit as you have a higher Medicare premium each month. And if my memory serves me correctly, when you turn 65 years old right here, you have 3 months before you turn 65 and then 3 months after you turn 65. So all total, you have a 7-month window, the month of your birth date, 3 months before or 3 months after. That is your enrollment period. And so sign up for Medicare and get enrolled whether you choose to use it at that time or not. Now, if you choose to retire before 65, you're looking for health insurance coverage, you can get on the Affordable Care Act, which is ACA. This is a government subsidized program, and the premiums are based upon your total household income. It's not based upon your income, but the total household income, which would be both you and your spouse. Now, here's the trick. If you can keep yourself, quote, poor on paper, your premiums will be very low. Now, my wife got on ACA, or the Affordable Care Act, when she turned 60 years old. Now, she turned 62 in July of this year, and her premiums are lower. Her premiums with the Affordable Care Act are lower than my premiums, and I'm on Medicare. Go figure. Her premiums are lower than mine, and I'm on Medicare. Now, needless to say, she's going to stay on the Affordable Care Act until she reaches Medicare age. Number 3, if you have a high deductible insurance policy right now, open a health savings account for yourself. Now listen, these health savings accounts or an HSA, these things are like pure gold. They really are. Your health savings account will cover any out-of-pocket medical expense that you face. Anything that your insurance doesn't cover, your health savings account or your HSA will cover it. And now listen, these things are like gold. When you make contributions into the health savings account, the money is tax-free. When it comes out, it's tax-free, and it can even be invested while it's sitting there to increase its value, and it's still tax-free. It's tax-free going in, it's tax-free coming out, and it's tax-free as the value of it builds. These things, it's a trifecta of benefits, and having a health savings account is like having pure gold. My health savings account has served me well in retirement. I established my health savings account back while I was working, and now I use it to pay for any costs that Medicare does not cover. And by the way, this is important. Once you get on Medicare, you can no longer open a health savings account or even make contributions to a health savings account. So if you want a health savings account, you got to do this while you're working, and you got to have a high deductible insurance policy to qualify. Okay, moving along. Number 4 on the list is transportation. Transportation is the 4th highest expenditure that we face in retirement, and it comes in somewhere around 14% of our monthly spending. Now, this includes things like your personal vehicle, your car, your truck, insurance, gas, maintenance, repairs, so forth, all those things that are associated with vehicles, and you know what they are. So how do I cut costs here? Well, first of all, and the most obvious, don't make payments on the car if at all possible. Get the thing paid off and don't make payments. Be willing to drive a used car as long as possible. Keep making repairs on your existing car until it can't be repaired anymore. That's how I do it. I just keep repairing it until it can't be repaired anymore. And if possible, when the time comes for you to buy another vehicle, pay cash if at all possible. You want to avoid the payments if you can. Now myself, I drive a 2013 GMC pickup truck, a Sierra. It has 145,000 miles on it. It provides me with a good ride. It's reliable transportation. The gas is affordable. The air conditioner works perfectly. You can hang meat in the cab of my truck. The paint job has not faded. So I think I will keep it as long as I can until it can no longer run. I keep making repairs on it until it can't be repaired anymore. You see, I don't like car payments. Who does? Car payments are a funnel for money, and I don't need to tell you that. And by the way, if you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Ronnie. Thanks for stopping by. And to everyone who's watching the video today, take 1 second to hit that thumbs up button that you'll find down below, because by doing so, it really helps the channel out, and I'll thank you in advance. Back to the video. Now, as you know, all cars and trucks are overpriced, both new and used. They're just overpriced and they're out of sight nowadays. But new cars are the worst. Some of them are so dang expensive that they have to be financed for 6 or 7 years just to be able to afford the payment. Now, unless you're rich in retirement, you don't want to be dealing with that kind of struggle each month. Plus, new cars, especially new cars, they are a depreciating asset. As soon as you drive it off the lot, it's considered used, and it drops in value a full 20%. Now you're upside down on the loan, which means you owe more on it than what the thing is worth. Then the depreciation plummets over the next few years at 15% more each year. After 4 years, the depreciation slows down, but now the vehicle has dropped in value some 60%. And yet, you still have 2 or 3 years of payments based upon the new car price. And that value has plummeted 60%. It just makes no sense to do this. Not only do new cars and trucks depreciate in value the quickest, they cost more money to insure, they cost more money to operate, and they cost more money to maintain. So cars and trucks and vehicles, they are a giant funnel for money, and we need to be careful there. Number 5, and this is the highest expenditure of all, is housing. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, About 35% of our income each month as a retiree will be spent upon housing, and this is the largest expense of all. Now, many people think that health care is the highest expenditure in retirement, and in a way that's true, but there's a caveat, which is this. While you might incur tens of thousands of dollars or even more in medical costs after you retire, somebody else pays for that, or at least most of it, namely your insurance policy or Medicare. They will pay for most of that. I've mentioned this before, but statistics show that Medicare will pay for and cover 70% up to 81% of your medical costs each year, as well as over the long term. With that medical caveat in mind, your housing still remains as the highest expenditure of all. It will cost you more out-of-pocket money than anything else. And this, of course, includes things like mortgage payments, homeowners insurance, maintenance and repairs, utilities, property taxes, homeowners insurance, the purchase price based upon where you live, and of course, homeowner association fees if you live in that kind of neighborhood. So, if this is the highest expenditure of all, how do we reduce our housing costs? Well, first of all, the most obvious and the most challenging way to reduce your housing costs is to pay off the mortgage. Paying off the mortgage solves a lot of problems, and it's a great goal to strive for. And I mean, it is a game changer in retirement. Now think about this. If you're paying $1,000 or $2,000 a month in mortgage payments, and then all of a sudden that goes away, that represents a ton of money. And it gives you an enormous amount of breathing room and financial relief in your retirement years. That's why I say being mortgage free is a game changer. Now, I became mortgage free at 51 years old, so I haven't had a house payment in 16 years, and you can only imagine how liberating this has been. Now, what about you? Have you paid off your mortgage yet? If you have, leave us a comment and tell us your story, because I know that others will be encouraged by it. Now, even though I'm mortgage free, yes, I know I still have to pay property taxes, and if I don't, the government swoops in, and we still have to pay homeowners insurance. Yes, I know I've heard those arguments before, but you know what? Being mortgage free is still better than paying the bank, and that's the bottom line. Funneling out $1,000 or $2,000 a month to the bank, then having that go away, it's just still better to be mortgage free. So the next question becomes, assuming that you have not paid off your mortgage, there are some other things that you can do still to reduce your housing costs. Well, number one, you can sell your home and downsize. And if you downsize to a smaller home, the utilities, the insurance, the property taxes, and the maintenance costs will be lower. It just becomes a cascading effect. Number two, you can sell your home and move to an area with a lower cost of living. Simple. Now, this could be as simple as just moving outside of the city where you live right now. Property prices tend to be lower outside the city, and particularly out in the countryside. Or number three, you could move into a community of 55 and older. Now, I wouldn't like that idea, but for many people, they do like the idea, and it may be a good option for you, moving into a community of 55 and older. And in rapid fire succession, here's a series of other things that you can do. You can refinance your mortgage. You can tap into your equity. You can take out a reverse mortgage. You can rent out a room in your house and get a monthly rental fee from somebody. You can become a renter yourself and just sell your house, get out from under it all, and become a renter yourself. You can find ways to reduce your utilities by reducing your energy consumption, and you can get yourself some lower homeowners insurance. And so forth and so on. There's a variety of things that you can do. So these are the top 5 areas where retirees will spend most of their money, about 80% of their household income. Number 1 is entertainment. Number 2 is food. Number 3 is healthcare costs. Number 4 is transportation. And then number 5 is housing. Now, it might be that none of my suggestions at lowering your costs appeals to you. Maybe you just say, that guy's just blowing smoke and it just don't mean a thing. And it may be that none of the things that I have suggested to lower your costs appeals to you. But you know what? On the other hand, you can take this list and, armed with this information, You can work on a plan yourself that is perfectly tailor-made for you, because you know everybody's situation is unique. We have different levels of money, we have different lifestyle choices, we have different preferences. But if you take that list of 5 areas, distinct areas where we spend most of our money, you can work out your own plan right there and really come out ahead. Everyone's situation is unique. What works for me may not work for you and might not work for the other guy. But this list is the meat of the matter. Again, entertainment, food, healthcare costs, transportation, and housing. Well, that's all for now. I hope that you've enjoyed the video. If you have, leave me a comment down below. Please feel free to like and subscribe. I'm Ronnie. Take care, and we're going to see you next time.